I tried to pause that last video so I could look at something and come back and tell you guys. I can't. So, week 2, take 2. Anyway, I hope we all had a good first week. You guys got your assignments in. Most of you got them in on time. So, we really want to be paying attention to those deadlines, when things are due, what time they're due, so that we can avoid those in the future. Also, it's good to get to learn about some of you guys and interesting things on where you're going, what you're doing. So week 2 really is focusing on the interview. And here we're really going to think about, right, we got our foot in the door. Now, how do we get this job? They liked our resume, they liked our cover letter enough to call us in for an interview. That interview process can, depending on the job and the location, take on several different things. There could be different tests involved. There could be a phone interview, which are always kind of awkward because you don't get those eye contact things. If you've ever just talked to someone on the phone and you're not sure whether they're understanding what you're saying, when you should stop talking, when they should stop talking, phone interviews can be quite a challenge. And then just a face-to-face in-person interview. And so depending on where you're working, what position you're looking for, will drive kind of what that interview is going to look like. So you'll see we have a couple of videos on interviews. You read some of the comments on these YouTube videos, and people always say interviews are stupid. You just use the same lies. Nobody tells the truth. But if you ask the right question, you kind of get a better answer. So learning how to ask open-ended questions instead of closed-ended questions. So instead of those yes, no, one-word responses, getting them to open up and tell a story. So instead of saying, are you organized? Yes, no. Tell me a time about when you really learned about organization and your ability to be organized, and ask for an example, right? So those are some of the interview questions that people think about. One of your strengths and weaknesses. We always like to think that when you're doing strengths and weaknesses, always have a weakness, but always be able to spin that weakness. So if you say, I have a tendency to take on too many projects. Okay, well, some would be like, well, you're a go-getter, but that also means you're not getting stuff done. So you can say, well, I have the ability sometimes to take on too many projects, but what I'm learning to do is really keep a detailed schedule so that I'm organized and I know if I'm able to get the job done in a quality, timely, efficient manner. So I'm working on that. So yes, that's not a positive, but I'm showing how I'm improving it. And so you always want to have more strengths than weaknesses. So usually the rule of thumb, 2 strengths, 1 weakness, and be able to show how you're improving that weakness. We're also going to post to the discussions, and you're going to comment kind of what you learned and watching those videos, what you look for if you had to interview to get your internship, maybe some of the experiences that you've had on previous jobs or even on this job. And then see if it's not possible for you to witness an interview while you're doing your work experience. So that those interviews, like I said, are going to be different and unique and tailored to each individual. So what you're going to do this week, watch those videos, post your discussion, be sure to comment on your classmates' discussions as well. And that'll take us through week 2. Oh, also, you can be working on your resume, cover letter. Remember, that's due next week, that rough draft. So if you've got it, go ahead and submit it, and then I can get it back to you so that you can be working to get it ready for the final draft. If you did not submit that ideal job posting, submit that, because you cannot submit your rough draft without having an actual job that's been approved. All right, have a great week. Learn a lot.